first thing I thought of when I asked Lewis if I could interview him was I was just noticing what we think of as house dance in the global sense. The first thing I see is, summer dance forever. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of competitions and you see a lot of workshops and master classes. Here's my philosophy that's starting to develop. The more I learn about people and history and dance communities is that when we think of a style like house dance or like, Vogue or any club dance or any street dance style, we think about certain moves. We think that what makes the dance is the moves, the technique. But what I'm starting to develop in my mind is that actually it's specific people. Like, it's not the city that dictates the style. Mm-hmm. It's the people in that city. And so when I think about house dance or Vogue or any city, any dance style, what I'm starting to realize is that it's the people that were there at that time. And then what happens is a couple generations later, you get somebody who goes overseas and becomes the face of that dance, right? So I'm thinking of Elite Force and Dance Fusion, and they kind of become the face of house. And so everybody around the world starts taking their workshops and they start associating house, the name house, with Khalif, with Marjorie, with Brian Green, and then they start boiling it down to specific steps or concepts like jacking, right? In everybody's mind around the world, that becomes a foundation of house. And so what I wanted to bring you guys here to talk about is the foundation that I think is missing from the current conversations and from the current scene, I guess if we're gonna call it that. Because I think competition is what sort of erases the foundation that you guys bring to the table, which is community and people and personal history, because that's what gets washed out in the dance studios when you're taking classes is you're not getting, you might get, the history of the person teaching, but you're not going to get the histories of all the people that were in the room with them because they're not going to have the time to talk about everybody. I wanted to get a sense of what it was like for both of you because, I know you're from different generations, right?
I'm much older than him.
Really?
I like the way he said that. I'll explain. When we started dancing, and when I started dancing, I started in 1975, okay? And it's important because all we did was dance. We had certain names for it, but every location had a different name for a little dance. But they got a dance from the locations they're at. Sometimes the clubs, sometimes the city or state. I'm from New York, so we're talking about Brooklyn dance differently than the Bronx. Bronx dance, because people in Bronx only stayed in the Bronx. The people in Brooklyn only stayed in Brooklyn. And people only stayed in Queens stayed in Queens. But during the time after disco, this is before house, way before house, that it changed where we had to understand that we were only learning what we learned in our own little bubble. And the city, New York City, was not a cultural place. It was a meeting place for cultures. So we would meet there was a well-known club called the Loft, which is my shirt, yes. Oh. And the Loft was one of the first places. It started in the 70s. This was after Stonewall. Stonewall was in 67? Mm-hmm. No, it was in 69. At the time, you had civil rights was very unpopular. That means you had Martin Luther King died, Bobby Kennedy died, JFK died. It was just like we were trying to get our own independence from being black folks in the first place. The gay community had their issues, then they wanted to be recognized for what they did. And Stonewall was the first place that actually had that rebellion. They were tired of the police department always busting them up and saying, we're closing the clubs. And that was their freedom, because they didn't have that freedom from their parents and their friends, because being gay was was strange, or it was odd, it was not normal. So they had to find their own community, and they found it in the clubs. They couldn't find it in the church. because it was a sin, because you know, and I'm talking from a straight guy talking about this, but I understand that. You know, you had women's liberation at the same time. Everyone that had their own liberation wanted to do that, and dancing was a reason to be able to do that. Having a club and doing that was important. Stonewall was that pinnacle time when the gay community, they needed that freedom so bad. Certain people decided to do clubbing, you know, have clubs, you know, like house parties. And this place called the Loft, which was done by a guy named David Mancuso. He was an orphan. Being an orphan, the only way he felt happy, because he had to have a family or anything else, he had the family from his community, the people who were in the orphanage, he was given the right to play the music for these little birthday parties for everybody. Because everybody had a birthday, and, you know, it was like, you don't have a parent, you don't have anything else, but you have this birthday party. So he would play this music, and he felt happy because I can make people happy. He later on decided that in 1970, he decided to do a rent party. Back in the day, in the South and everything else, you had rent parties. You know, in Jamaica, you had rent parties where people would come to my party, only give me $1, $2, and it would pay for the food or the drink or the rent.
Yeah. And rent parties go way back.
Way back. But that's a community kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so Mancuso in 1970, he had these rent parties and were great. And he moved to another location in the 90s. But during that 70s, the beginning of the 70s, disco was finally being made by the Latin community, the dance itself, the hustle. But we always freestyle. We always did anything freestyle, you know. And so we never had a actual name for the dances too much, because everybody will make a new dance and they can name it, but it's too much to deal with.
Yeah.
The people who listen to disco needed to go underground after a certain time because it got too commercialized. A lot of white society didn't like that. They liked the rock music, and they didn't like to have that you were dancing with a gay man or with a man or a black man or anybody. So they hated that situation. So they kind of banned it. They decided that they were going to burn these disco records at a baseball field, the disco demolition. And everyone who loved disco went underground.
The infamous Disco Demolition Night that took place at Chicago's Comiskey Park in July of 1979 was either the much-celebrated demise of the disco era, a shameful display of racism and homophobia, or just some drunk idiots blowing off steam. The story of Disco Demolition Night begins with a Chicago DJ named Steve Dahl. In the summer of 1979, disco dominated the music charts and the hearts and minds of many American music fans. A 24-year-old rock fan, Dahl was fired that year when his radio station made a switch to an all-disco format. After taking a job at a rival station, Dahl made his seething hatred for the disco format into his signature on-air bit.
Earlier, I asked Steve just what he has against disco.
Well, the first thing I have against it is that I can never find a white three-piece suit that fits me off the rack. I hate disco because I can't find a white three-piece suit that fits me off the rack that hangs well. And you gotta have one of those.
That's exactly the same reason that I dislike disco.
I can't dance. It's not so much the music that I dislike, it's actually the culture, and we're a rock and roll station, the Loop is, in Chicago.
It's true.
Hardcore rock and roll station, and it's actually quite intimidating to our audience, to myself, to most rock and rollers, because you have to look perfect, your hair has to be beautiful, and it's actually gotten out of proportion, you know, because New York, the media centers, and Los Angeles are so into it now, and the trendy ad men go down to Studio 54 and
put on a dress and say, hi, let's have a good time. Sailor?
Pretend they're Margaret Trudeau.
This is now officially the world's largest anti-disco rally.
Strangely enough, I was an usher, working his way towards his first synthesizer at the time. What I noticed at the gates were people were bringing records, and some of the records were disco records, and I thought those records were kind of good. And some of those records were just black records. They weren't disco. They were just black R&B records. And I should have taken that as a tone for what the attitude of these people were. I know that nobody was bringing Metallica records by mistake. They might have brought a Marvin Gaye record, which wasn't a disco record, and that got accepted and blown up along with Donna Summer and Anita Ward, and so it felt very racial to me.
Now remember, disco was a soulful music that came from soul, funk, Latin, reggae, jazz, all those put together was making disco. Yeah. And disco was basically, again, it was probably sophisticated R&B by black people.
By sophisticated, you mean because of the orchestral?
Well, yes, exactly, because a lot of things like the early stuff, you heard string orchestras like you guys can be able to listen to classical kind of music and have a string behind you. This wasn't just the Temptations and the Four Tops doing a little movement. This was like, we are just like you. We can, if you give us a box, we'll make magic out of the box.
Before we go any further, let's stop and talk about disco music. And what better expert could we ask than the king of discos, Van McCoy, the man who wrote and recorded The Hustle.
My best explanation of what disco music is would be to classify it as a combination of two ingredients. Rhythm enmeshed, I would say, with beautiful melodies, flowing strings, full orchestra sound, which is kind of different because in most cases the full orchestra was always used for ballad material, whereas this time it's a combination of the bitter and the sweet, the funky rhythm underneath with the flowing strings on top and the percussive horns on the top, all accenting rhythm.
Everything from the 30s and 40s of Lindy Hop to Jitterbug, or from blues to rock and roll. These are cultures by the black community, people of color.
It's also ironic that, so you're describing this burning of disco records because they liked rock, but rock also came from black people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
but but they changed it, meaning they don't acknowledge people of color when they do something. They usually shun it, and after that, they figure out, wait a minute, there's a lot of money here. Hip-hop was the same thing. Yeah. Hip-hop, back in the day, they were like, that's that ghetto stuff. We don't want to hear that black music, whatever, that Latino music. Mm-hmm. And they had to, then they realizing their sons and daughters were buying it. And they were like, yo, we can make money. They were like, we can make money off this. My son's listening to this rap music. And the other guy said, my son's listening to rap music too. Oh, why aren't we making rap music? Why can't we get in popular? So they figured out how to make money off of it.
Yeah, they open up a distribution. They start tapping in and pulling music from the community and seeing, oh, my kids love this, so there is money in this, right? Because then what happens when you start seeing all these different hip-hop labels and liquors and all these different things that have spanned out because of hip-hop?
Yes.
And they still getting paid. Mm-hmm. They still getting paid, and they get these young artists and they get them involved and they sign these contracts. And not like TLC, prime example, didn't understand and didn't have enough sense to go get a lawyer to understand that I can't just sign something and give away my right.
I mean, they're busy thinking, hey, glitz and glamour and money, and we get a little, but they're getting coins. They're not getting dollars. They're getting coins. And when you get coins, you're just getting an allowance. Mm-hmm. But you still, with the allowance, you still got to pay for the other stuff that they need from you. So you really don't come out with anything at the end of the day. You think, well, I got all this money, but then you got to pay for the, for the commercial time. You got to work for, traveling. You got to wait for this and that and the other. By the time you only have like this much money, and they don't realize that. And that's the same thing with dancers today too. I mean, they don't realize a lot of them now getting to be smarter because they can sell their own product. But back then, we didn't have that knowledge to do that.
Did you feel at the time, in the 50s, early 60s, a resentment of some of the white performers who were copying R&B stuff and selling more records than you and your contemporaries were?
Just didn't object to it. I just felt that the music it wasn't that good to care about. Now, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? But I mean,
maybe some exceptions, though. I mean, Elvis was a talented guy.
Well, okay.
Well, they said you was high class. Well, that was just a lie. Yeah, they said you were high class. Well, that was just a lie. Yeah, you ain't nothing but a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
I don't think of Elvis like that because I know too many artists that are far greater than Elvis. I think Elvis person came along at the right time, for he was a white kid that could do rock and roll or rhythm and blues or whatever name you want to call it, and the girls could swoon over him. Nat Cole got in trouble in Alabama when the women swooned over him. Got put out of town. And black people been going out shaking their behind for centuries. What the hell's unusual about them shaking their hips and stuff?
Well, they said you was high class. Well, that was just a lie. Yeah, they said you were high class. Well, that was just a lie. Yeah, you ain't nothing but a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
And that's all Elvis was doing, was copying that. And he was doing our kind of music. That's black music. So what the hell am I supposed to get so excited about, man? I think all this stuff about saying he's the king and he's it's a piece of bunk. Sorry. Next question. Don't ask me no more about Elvis because I've gotten enough trouble as it is. I believe that it's the soulfulness that you are born with. You can teach a person to sing. You can actually do that. But what you can't do is you cannot teach them to sing with feeling. They either have it in them or they don't.
when people, like in the 70s, people of color have a struggle, or they're not respected, or they're not acknowledged for their need to be in an equal playing field with anybody, healthcare, all that stuff is not given to them. They go back to the simplest forms that they can, which is being a musician, using their voice, or using their dance. The dance is important because it's the freedom of it. It comes, a lot of it from the church. It comes from slavery, to be free to do that, because they stifled us for many years in any way. Don't play the drums, because that might mean that you guys are going to go ahead and revolt against the white people. No, they took those drums from us, so they left us with very little, but we had to deal with it.
But did you know that for decades, enslaved people in America used the sounds of traditional African music to rise up against the brutal slave system? The Stono Rebellion was the largest slave uprising to take place anywhere across the 13 colonies. White lawmakers in South Carolina passed the Negro Act of 1740, which takes away what little civil liberties enslaved people had, making it illegal for them to congregate in groups or use drums for any reason. But the Negro Act does not silence enslaved people. Instead, they find new ways to communicate, using their bodies to tap out rhythms, foot stomping, hand clapping, and tap dancing to share coded messages using sounds instead of words.
We are a strong group of people that need to survive, and this is how we do with music.
I was just thinking about church specifically. Wherever Christianity and Catholicism came from, I imagine they were just sitting there.
Yes, probably.
There's just one person talking and reading off of a Bible, and everybody's just sitting there quietly. And maybe there's a choir that's standing there very still. And then, at a certain moment they sing, but they're singing like by standing still.
Yes, Lutheran, Protestant, Presbyterian, all of them are like that. They're very, except the gospel church, which is yelling, screaming, dancing, using a tambourine. Everybody just start breaking. Everybody, and you're like, why is everybody, who is this grandma getting up?
Because now you go to a Christian church, all the different kinds, now you see people moving, and you hear more funk music or more gospel.
Cancer, all the pain is gone. Behold the anointing.
It's changed everything in terms of the way certain people practice their religion in the church.
True. I can say this, that because of growing up gay, and they was always, you gonna go to hell for this, and you sin, and blah, blah, this, and blah, blah, that. And then we call that the big hat churches. That's where everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else, but yet and still, they still tipping in the back in the deacon room, doing other stuff. That's a whole nother interview right there. Yeah. However, that music that we hear in the church, the DJs started remixing some of that music, like Tremaine Hawkins' Fall Down on Me, right? And the Clark Sisters, You Bring the Sunshine. And DJs started remixing these songs, and on Sunday mornings, we would be in the club at 6 a.m., and you start hearing these tracks, and we getting our praise on.
That's church.
That's our church. We didn't have to go inside AME, Baptist Church on Fulton. We went into the End Up. We went into Sound Factory, and we were in these places, and we were giving our praise. And people say, oh, y'all in there dancing the gospel music, y'all sinning. No, we're not. We giving our praise the way we know how to give our praise, because my relationship with my God is here. And it's different from yours, and different from his, and different from his. We have our own personal relationships. So this is where we found solitude, within our own selves, was in the club. And we got to hear this music and give thanks to it.
But I imagine so many people cannot understand that. Like, they can't fathom that because they don't have those feelings. They don't have that kind of connection with God. They're, in their minds, religion is more of a textbook thing. Like, they're really focused on scripture or on words or on sermons. I think when we talk about the club and why, like bringing it back to people who take classes to learn house dance, what they're missing is that element of connection, like emotional connection or spiritual
themselves
connection.
And the music,
Exactly.
by the DJ playing the music.
Yeah, like they can't tap into that, they can't feel that, because that's something that I personally don't know how you would ever translate that and bring that into a class.
I think that's the struggle of feeling pain or appreciating joy and being able to express that. I think when people don't express it, and I've seen young kids who got it, they understand it. You can see them bringing their emotions out of them. I see young sisters, dancing, and I can see them going back to Africa by doing doing African dance when they're doing stuff, and I'm looking at them and they're like in a zone. Those are the ones who get it, or the ones who you can tell that they're listening to the music and they're not looking at the DJ, because the DJ is not the focal point. It's them bringing the energy out, and the DJ getting the satisfaction because there's a communication between the DJ and the dancer.
Very true. And it's funny how the scene has changed, and everybody want to stand there with their phones and look at the DJ. And I'm just like, honey, this is prime dance real estate. What are you doing?
Prime real estate.
What are you doing here? Like, if you want to stand and look at the DJ, stand over there. We want to go over there.
There's a perfect good spot for you.
But it's this thing, it's this new thing. And I think Honey Dijon mentioned this in an interview, and she says, stop looking at the DJ. I wish it'd go back to where the people came to dance and not look at the DJ. But I remember there was a club here in the city called Studio West I used to go to back in the day. And you had to climb up a ladder to get to the DJ booth. Because that's what a DJ was. You didn't see the DJ, but you heard the music, And I think that's what's missing. People come to the club for the wrong reasons. The club is to come to the club to let loose, to have a good time, not to stand with your drink. And that is the most annoyingest thing ever, is to own the dance floor with a drink in your hand trying to be cute and dance. Ooh, that wears me out.
Dangerous.
Ooh, that wears me
Dangerous.
out.
Yeah, because they always make the floor sticky.
Yes, exactly.
But the problem is they feel that they have a drink and they don't want to drink it there. They want to have it on the floor and they want to have it in their hand. And then they try to dance with the drink in their hand, so it wastes all over the floor. So then it gets from slippery to sticky, and they're not dancers. So all they're doing is thinking, I'm looking cute moving this around, and they don't realize you're making it more of an obstacle. You're not helping out the party, you're really messing the party up. But it's a I don't know if it's a European thing, it's just a bottle service thing. It's just that they feel that, I paid for a drink, so I should do it. It's a privilege thing, which should not be in a situation where you're trying to be communal with everybody else. It's not about me, me, me. And I realized that when I actually see, like he said, DJs should be heard but not seen. They should not be the focal point. And as he said before, the clubs that he went to, that the DJ had to go up loud, the garage couldn't see Larry Levan because he was so high up on the top, and the lights was in front of you, so you couldn't even see him unless you were inside the DJ booth, that you had to go up one step, and it was a small room that the DJ was in, like a little box. So David Mancuso, in his place, which is the Loft, which was different, he was in the back. We came in behind him and got in the dance floor, and we didn't even look at him. It was like he was in the back, doing his thing, and we were like dancing in front and had more room no one looked at him.
I'm thinking, are people watching DJs because those are DJs themselves that are trying to learn? Or do they just idolize DJs so much?
Because it used to be you have to be talented before you become famous. Now you have to be famous to become talented. And they don't know that. And real DJs know that because they see other DJs and go like, you're not as good. Why you shortcut every little thing. Play some vinyl. Play some vinyl, mix with vinyl. And that's another thing with the dancing. The kids now are only listening to the instrumental and doesn't understand that vocals are extremely important towards the culture. And I think the thing is that because it's a lot more like electronic and it's all instrumental, you forget the human part of the song that does it. There's actual scriptures or words that are put into the songs that we listen to.
There was Jack, and Jack had a groove, and from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. And while one day viciously throwing down on his box, Jack boldly declared, "Let there be house," and house music was born. I am the creator, and this is my house. And in my house there is only house music. But I am not so selfish, because once you enter my house, it then becomes our house and our house music. And you see, no one man owns house, because house music is a universal language spoken, understood by all. You see, house is a feeling that no one can understand really unless you're deep into the vibe of house. House is an uncontrollable desire to jack your body. And as I told you before, this is our house and our house music. And every house you understand. Oh, I get lifted, yes, I get lifted, 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 oh, I get lifted, yes.
They motivate us to understand that someone's talking to this and we agree with that. Where with dancers now, it's only background music. It's like being in the elevator. Oh, music's playing, so what is doing? I can still dance because I'm seeing the music, but they're not even connecting with the music or with the people in general. Every time he gets off, I get off, we can get off of tribal stuff and we can get off of gospel stuff. Because we know that those artists that we knew who were women who sing their heads off came from the church first. And the gentleman who did the same thing came from the church first. So they had that, we know how to belt it out, bring out that feeling out to the music. And that's what we hear when we hear with dancing. They're talking to us and we're listening to them because they are telling us how they feel and how we should feel. So when you have vocals, that's what that's supposed to do.
When those change, like you go from tribal to house to gospel, blah, 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 right? The movement that you're doing changes with the music. Yes. That's the thing. The movement changes, because I can envision myself dancing and I'm deep into this Vogue thing, right. And all of a sudden I hear this African beat and then this comes out of me, right? And so with that, I'm going on a journey with the DJ. I'm following him or her, and they're taking me somewhere and I'm going with them. And then all you'll hear, on my knees, and I'm back to church again. I'm praying. I done fell on my knees because it's time to go, right? But then you see this person over here who doesn't have a clue to what's going on because they're not following the same script we're following, and they're coming through with their 4 drinks in their hands.
Because they feel open space, but they don't understand what meant the open space. And that's another thing too, is it's being organic to make space. It's called the history of the Cypher. When people of color were dancing, no matter in church or whatever, or performing, it's about giving the person room because they're feeling it. If I'm dancing or she's dancing or whatever, somebody's dancing and we see that they're really getting off, I'm gonna give them some space.
Yes.
I'm gonna step back. I'm not gonna disturb that space. I don't wanna crowd their space. I want them to expand as much as possible. If the wall's there and he wants to play with the wall, if he wants to play with the chair, wants to slide through a leg, dance around the pole, I want to give them that space to be able to expand. That's my respect to the person who's dancing. And there's other people who dance because they want to show their journey. I took African dance, so I want to take that in there. I'm from a Latin community, I want to get that stuff in there.
Yes.
I'm from reggae, yeah, I can feel that bounce. I like rock back in the day, yeah. All those things come with the dance, and it clicks into the music. When you listen to music and you know that somebody's mixed some reggae, mixed with some jazz, mixed with some rock, mixed with some funk, you start breaking those dances apart. But you bring them together within the song because you find out, oh, that's that Latin part. Yeah, I can get off on the Latin part. That's the African part. I'm going to get off on Africa. And it makes a difference. It shows that you're a more rounded dancer than just doing the commercial, I'm going to be a transformer, and I'm going to be a dinosaur when I'm doing my dancing, because it's like, these things they're different, but they're not human. Bring the human out of you. I want to see somebody cry on the dance floor. I want to see somebody yell.
Yes.
I want to see somebody scream.
Yes.
I want to see somebody cry. I want to see somebody laugh. I want to see somebody, joyful. All of a sudden they felt that in church. Hey, this is what the community does with the dance. It's when people not from the community decide to change it and think, we're going to make sure that the DJ is a focal point and that everybody's there for DJ Blip. DJ Blip might not have any friends or might not be good at all, but he's got a lot of followers because somebody figured out how to give him a lot of followers. They grab anybody out of the clear blue sky and say, do this. But how many friends you have, that's different. And in the house community, it's about how many friends, and we go there because we support the DJ. Not the name of the DJ, but because what the DJ brings to us.
I remember the best time to be in a club. So you done got to the club, it's 12:30, 11 o'clock, right? You're at the club, you're getting in it, you're finding your groove. 2 o'clock comes. The cocktail people, they're dissipating. There's no more alcohol to sell, so now they leaving. Yeah. So the floor is getting clear. Sound Factory, 2:30 in the morning. Holy crap. And this is where the DJ has really just went deep. Like, he's playing shit that you didn't even think about from the 70s, and he's just pulling these songs out of nowhere. Oh. And then you fall out on the floor. The kids just falling out. I mean, we're not just voguing and dipping. I'm talking about falling the fuck out and shaking and rolling on the floor because the music is taking you somewhere. 4 o'clock in the morning, the girls start walking. We walking through the club. And the people that are there for that reason. They know that we finna go there. We finna go deep. Yes. And that thing right there is so important. And you never catch anybody thinking about what they're doing. They are just doing it. Yes. And that's the era I come from. We just do it. We don't think about it. And it's been many times I've been in the club recently and I see dancers and they're getting in the Cypher, and I'll go tell them when they come out, stop thinking about what you're doing. Exactly. And just do it. Exactly. Because that's when you come alive. Because when you think about it, that's when you start stumbling over yourself because you're trying to figure out how to get this step. Don't think about the step. Michael Jackson said this, the worst thing that a dancer can do is think about what he's doing when he do it. So when you dance, you must be free. You must be free because this is why you're dancing. It's to be free. So you have to let go of everything. Because like you said earlier, we come in there to release the stress. We come in there to release the aggravation at work. We come in there because we're happy. We're there for a million reasons. But we have to learn to let go. Let go. That is the most important thing for any house dancer to do, is to let go and just come and just be yourself. And I'm going to say this because my boy said this to me and it makes so much sense. Cody said this to me one night. We were standing around talking and he goes, I don't have to get in the Cypher every time I go to the club. I don't have to get in the Cypher. I can just dance. And sometimes we forget that because now the Cypher is the thing now. That's where everybody wants to be seen.
And we have the most room.
I want it to be clear to the people watching that you guys both come from a an environment where the Cypher was.
There was no Cypher.
No.
There was no Cypher.
No,
Right.
No, that was a hip hop thing that was given because a lot of the younger people were coming from a hip hop background, and they loved hip hop because it was, you know, this, that, and the other. But the people who listened to disco went on the ground, and the kids who didn't get a chance to go to discos were doing street. Remember, breaking is a street dance.
Yeah.
It's done and learned in the streets. Hip hop can be in the streets, but it's more performance. House is organic. We're like hippies.
Let me just tap in on that, because with the whole house thing, I think that a lot of times people are given a recipe, right? And I'm just going to go into the studio, right? And you go into the studio and they take Jardy's class, right? And they do exactly what Jardy taught them. And then they go to the club, and you see them in the club today, and they do exactly what Jardy taught them. Whose dance is that? It's his dance. But the moment you take his dance and you do a 1, 2, 3, and you add a 5, 6, 7 to it,
it's your dance.
It becomes yours.
Yes.
And that's what the younger generation is missing. They're forgetting the fact that, oh, I've learned this, but I got to add something to it in order to make it mine. Yeah. Otherwise, it's going to be his forever. Exactly. But the way that we danced in the 70s and the 80s, we danced for the pure organicness of it. We were free, and we were telling stories with our bodies. And there was no dance. I ain't never took a dance studio. I ain't never been in a dance. I've been in one today recently. I'm saying, but I've never taken anybody's dance class and was like, oh, I'm going to learn this 8-step. When I even perform with people, they say, learn an 8 count. And I'm like, what the fuck is an 8 count? let me be me. Yeah. Because that's where my organicness, that's where my star and my light shines. Let me connect with the music. Not that I can't learn an 8-step, but the thing is like when you are in that moment, you are dancing from your insides, from your heart. Like you are feeling this music and you're going on a journey. I remember being in an end-up one night, and I was in rare form this particular evening. And may he rest in peace. There was a DJ named Blackstone. Blackstone sitting to the side over there, and he's watching. I didn't know he was watching me dance, but he was doing his thing, and he called me over, and I'm like, what's up? He goes, this lady want to know what kind of drugs you on. And I'm like, what?
Oh, yes.
And
I've had those many times.
And I'm like, huh? She wants to know what drugs you're on. I'm like, I told her you were sober. She goes, he cannot dance that way and be sober. I go, why not? First of all, I am on a journey, and you are interrupting. So I'm going to go back over here and get back into what I was doing. And it's amazing. Now, if she'd have caught me 27 years ago, then yeah, I probably would have been on some drugs. But I've been sober 26 years. But it's just funny how people think you have to be high in order to feel this music that I'm connected with, I guess.
Well, because when we're dancing, it's from internally going out. We're expressing ourselves because this is our gym, this is our church, this is our social gathering, this is our, you're out there because my boyfriend gets on my nerve, my girlfriend gets on my nerve, my parents get on my nerve, I hate my job. Oh, wow, I just got a promotion. Yes, I just got a new apartment. All those things you bring your expression, you bring your freedom, and you bring your everything let's go on a dance floor. We've never had to, if back in the day, you said, I'm taking dance classes, you can't dance.
Dance class? What's that?
You learn how to dance by dancing with everyone differently in the room because everyone has a different flavors to where they dance. The house is all about bringing what you can bring to the table. But there was a certain part of like 2007 to 2010 where it switched a little bit. The girls were still dancing like guys. They wasn't using any of the femininity on the dance floor. The women were trying to follow the guys because they thought the only way I can be cool and get in to be able to dance unless I dance like the guys. And people like Marjorie hung out with guys but said, I'm gonna do me, and owned it. See, the thing is, young people don't own what they own. They don't really take it in and say, this is me, and I know if you don't like it, but I'm going to do the best that I'm going to do. I'm not going to follow Jardy. I'm not going to follow Mama Stacey. I'm not going to follow Luce. I'm going to do me. And that's the thing about it. We were more, back in the day, it was important for us to be unique. It wasn't important for me to follow the trend. I'm not wearing what he's got on. We wanted to figure out how to be so different that we stuck out.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, actually, so many things, because I've been listening this whole time.
Don't lose it. Don't blow your head now.
Man. There are so many things. I'm trying to kind of remember everything. One of the things is definitely context, that younger students, younger dancers need to have. When I was growing up in the scene, I was going to New York. I was going to, I don't know if you remember Lucas Lounge in Oakland.
Yes, Grand
2
Avenue.
years straight. 2 years straight going there, watching one of my biggest inspirations. His name is Abdul, and he's a person that I learned like my style from. So
and he's from Philly.
He's actually, yes, Abdul is from Philly, and he does the style that a lot of people have called like lofting before. That smooth style. So yeah, so that was actually he was the first person to ever inspire me in person. I did watch a lot of New Yorkers, and I was amazed at what they did on video until I started meeting them one by one. But Abdul was really the one that gave me my foundation to be able to learn all these things. And Lucas Lounge was a black club. So when we went in there, we were the ones learning. We were the ones learning in the club. We didn't take our steps from the studio and practice them in the club and ignore everybody else. We looked around, we were like, like these are the people to learn from. And I'm not even talking about just the dancers. I'm talking about just the average person who was just getting down, like you're saying, somebody screaming, somebody crying in the corner. And then there was this one time, there was an argument in the club over two people who were ciphering. And then one person was very hip hop and the other person was very, I'm guessing he was part of the house community. But the person in the house community was shouting at him. He was like, I tell stories. And for years, it's like, because I was coming out of like as a hip hop head too, like learning this stuff. For years, I was like, that just stuck with me. I'm like, and then, as the years went by, this,
Wait, was
I got it
the
more
hip hop
and
guy
more.
or the house guy that said I tell stories?
The house guy.
It was the house guy. Okay.
Yeah,
just wanna make
the house
sure.
guy did. And I didn't understand it at first. I was like, telling stories, And then, as the years go by, like as the years went by, I'm like, I totally understand what he's talking about, because it's all about the freedom of expression and not just kind of like putting out move after move, you have to express yourself. So that's one of the things. It's really context and going into the places where these dances are created, where the right people are in there to learn from. And if you're vibing with just each other and you're all students, how are you going to get better than each other? How are you gonna,
Right.
So it's really like you got to look outside of like your circle of friends, and you just got to look everywhere for inspiration. Yeah. And yeah, so that for me, that was like, just a huge part of my growth to be around the right people. I went directly to the source of what I wanted to learn.
You have to. It's like the same thing. It's the same thing. Like I tell people, it's like, well, if I'm going to learn about reggae, I'm going to go to Jamaica. If I'm going to learn about the martial arts, and let's say, learning any kind of martial arts, I want to go back to where that was done. No matter if it's Korea, or if it's Japan, or if it's China, I want to go there so I can learn the craft. That's when you do the homework. But when you decide to do it and you want to do it quickly, you want to bypass A, B, and C and just go to E, F, and G, you never get any better because you only know a certain amount. And it's about knowing as far back as you can, and the older the better. I mean, the guy who taught you lofting, I commend him that he was doing that, but you can't teach lofting. And the reason why I say that is because I'm a lofter.
It's very true.
Wait, so do you call it lofting?
No.
Okay.
We don't call it lofting. That's stupid.
It's very
I mean,
true.
yeah, I'll explain to you.
Yeah.
People says lofting because they thought, oh, it's that floor movement. There's a guy that's in the video Maestro who says, oh, I'm in the car and I saw these guys dancing, doing this all flips and trips and this and that and the other, and man, they were lofting. They were doing that lofting. Them lofting guys.
What did you say to yourself when you first seen them guys dancing the way they danced there? That lofting. He goes, man, I couldn't believe my eyes. He goes, those guys were breaking their backs on the dance floor. That's exactly how he put it.
As a friend of mine said, people need labels. A younger kid said, we need labels to understand what you guys do.
That's true.
And we didn't have labels to deal with that because what dance style are you doing? I'm just doing me. I mean, what kind of move is that? I don't know what that is. I felt it because the music took me to that level. That's what that was. So lofting, and honestly, we had so many different people that were coming from the loft environment, which is Princeton Mercer. It wasn't, and this was done in 1980. This is 7 years before house music decided to bring its name house music. We were, and this is basically what we did. We did dives, we did spins, we did back handsprings, we did cartwheels, we did slides. We danced on the floor, but we did more of a corkscrew kind of thing. We go down, we go up. We go down, we go up. Every time we made a move, it was to the peak of that music. As soon as that break comes in there, we would either jump in the air or dive down on the ground. Later on, by the time the 90s came in, and most of the young kids that were into the hip hop era that came into the house, like the Mob Top, Elite Force, everybody from Khalif, Ejo, Shaw, Shannon S., Sekou, Marjorie, Voodoo Ray, Brian Green, all of them, when they came up, they didn't have that opportunity to go to the loft to see what we were doing. So they only got it from me and my generation. Evelyn Santos, Archie Barnett, Bravo. We were the four that were still going into clubs. They could see us do these movements that we do, and we all were different in what we did. Archie be whacking. Bravo be doing dives and stuff like that. I'd be doing dives and splits and things like that too. Evelyn would be go ahead and, being prancing. She would go to, balls too. This is a loft community, but we don't have a label because we don't end up. We don't do garage. So why do we loft?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, and I'm sorry that people had to market it because they had to figure out a new style, and this is what we got to go further back into the crates to figure out, the movement. So we're gonna grab, we're gonna find out that back then at the loft they did lofting.
Yeah. This is a known thing within people who really dig deeper. But for people who are just trying to learn moves and whatever, they will, throw that around as if like it's such an easy word to use to describe something, but it really is not. It doesn't describe anything.
I think that what happens is that the younger generation always wants to put a label on something. Everything needs a label, whereas the era we come from, it was about expressing yourself. And you didn't go to the club and say, tonight I'm going to pull that chair out and vogue in this chair and I'm going to lay on the floor. And sometimes you go back then, we dressed up. There was no going to the club in sweatpants and tennis shoes. We dressed up because we wanted to be seen. Mm-hmm. And we would show up in these clubs and we would get our groove on and we would dance and we'd be like, this thing, I just paid $200 for these pants. And they soaking wet to the knees because we didn't roll across the floor. We're not thinking about the outfit anymore. We're thinking about what this DJ has done to me, right? And a lot of times we are there to express ourselves. But then we see our friend the next day, or we call him and go, Miss Thing, we went the fuck in last night. That shit was major. We had a good time. I tore up my Z Cavarici shirt, but it was freaking amazing. I left it on the floor, right? And it's so funny because this whole baby powder thing has been around forever. And people think it's something new. What are they doing? Why are they doing that? What is that for? Why are they doing that? What is that?
We're saving the floor because you guys are messing it up.
It saves your knees. Yes, it saves them.
It saves them because When you're younger, you have enough momentum and enough lightness to jump up and spin, and it doesn't make that much friction. But when you're a little older, you're not going to get all that muscle up there to do that. So that means you need a certain amount of smoothness. And you can do that, but on concrete, it hurts the body. On a rug, some people have danced on rugs, because I've danced on rugs and concrete and grass, but you gotta have something that's gonna give you consistency of slipping. Mm-hmm. And when you're around other environments that don't give you that, you have to make your environment conducive for you to dance. So that baby powder is like, the magic powder to go ahead and pour on the floor to give a person. Now, there can be too much baby powder, which we went to an event recently, and somebody put too much baby powder on the floor, and everybody was like, I'm watching, why aren't you not dancing in this area? And it's like, it's too slippery. It's too slippery. Because, and that means that even us as elders have to respect and understand baby powder is not for everyone. If somebody's doing a flip or a turn and they need to have that grip, I should not disturb that. So that's when you see baby powder on the side of the room, that person's being respectful for the space.
Now, I have to defend the baby powder right fast. I have to defend it right fast. And I have to say, because Amy always gets on me and goes, baby powder's a privilege, not a right. And I'm like, well, first of all, darling, I am the mother of this community, and I have my rights. I have the rights. And I know that I can't overextend, right? Yes. So lately, if I'm dancing in a certain area, I will powder that area, but I won't go overboard, but I'll give it a little, and then I'll spread it out.
I remember anytime somebody poured baby powder in the middle, everyone jumps in and goes, yes. Like we're all snatching it.
Oh yeah.
Like holy water.
I do that.
The thing is,
I do that.
All of those people that want the powder never bring any powder.
No, never bring a powder at all.
They never
bring
it.
Powder.
And I'm a powder queen. I always got it in my pocket. It's always with me.
Too.
But that's the funniest thing to me, that they never bring it. I'm like, but you always want it. I mean, they like fleas. They just come. Yeah. Like tadpoles or something. But no, but I'm saying that the sense of that powder is to save my knees and my hips, but also it's to give me that, to save me from that stickiness that somebody has created on the floor.
It's definitely a hazard.
Yeah. You gotta rip your knees that way.
We wouldn't be dancing here if we didn't have baby powder that helped us out. I mean, and I think the younger ones do understand this to a certain point when they do have it and they try it and they realize, I can move much easier. It's like, that's right. When I see people with drinks in their hand and they're standing around, I go like, excuse me. And especially when they think the energy's there and we're making the energy, they want to come there with their drinks. And it's like, right here. It's like, you're making an obstacle. I'm not trying to dance around you. I'm trying to dance here, but you're crowding and you're taking my space. I know it's not you might think it's showtime, but it's not to me. This is my time right now. This is my valuable real estate, and my baby powder I have is only in this little area. I'm not pouring it over here. I'm putting it right here so I can work. I'll make this little area magic, but don't take it away from me. And I think that the certain newbies that come in don't understand it. I think sometimes people should understand there should be there's an unwritten law for certain things that we have. Like, one, be gracious to people who are at the door, be gracious to people who own the place, be gracious to all the people who are involved with working there, because they can't tell if we're good guys or bad guys until we show you that we're smiling and respect them and we're patient with them. This is what we have to do. We have to make sure that when we are with our group of people that we're not being privileged to say, we're dancers, so we should be doing this. It's like, no, you're part of the community. Everyone's a dancer. If I see a guy who's doing 2 steps or whatever, I give him credit, and he's working a 2-step. But you see, cheer them on, let them understand you appreciate them, smile to them. Don't make it seem like it's my world and I'm going to get away. No, because then you're not being communal. And this whole discussion is about being communal. The more and this is another reason why the hip hop world loved the house community, because we're communal. We're not competitive. See, we're artists. We were first going to these clubs for, to release ourselves. And then we became artists while we were doing it. And it got to be a spiritual thing. But now, it's showtime. Let's see how many moves I got. Let's see what I can show people. Let me get in that Cypher. It's like, if I'm dancing, I might want to dance the whole record. People just take it for granted. Okay, you've been in there for about a minute. Now you get off and let me get inside and let me do that. It's like, why don't you make your own cipher? Why don't you make your own circle? Why don't you go ahead and make your own magic? Because now the ciphers are man-made. Our stuff was always organically made.
Mm-hmm. That's actually why I don't like to be next to Jardy at a club.
You don't have to.
Because I like to just dance, but then as soon as he starts dancing, people start gathering because they think it's Cypher time.
Which that's not it for me either. I avoid the ciphers. That's why I'm on my own.
That's hard for you because a lot of the dancers that I know that were younger than me, you know, other than Mama Stacey, because I realized that she's not older than me, but you know that still a baby. That when you are now a public figure, when it comes down to being a teacher, you're being watched all the time, and you don't get a chance to be able to dance for yourself because you're always judged, always somebody's trying to battle you. You're like, you know what? I just want to do me right now. Let me get in my own little head. But people don't understand that. So and that's where he loses part of it. It's like being famous. You know, when you're famous and everybody wants to take your picture and everybody wants to know your name and everybody wants to take it. It's like, can I get a peace of mind to just be myself?
For me, I dance in a way. I think I go inward so much that I hope that it's a clue that, you know, this is my time, you know, because I don't always
I get the vibe
perform,
people are
you know?
waiting for you to do something.
Oh yeah,
like it's Jardy. He's gonna do
happens.
something.
Like, and sometimes nothing happens at all. You know, just like nothing happens.
But when you say nothing happens, you're not the person on the outside looking in. And that one little twitch you do, oh my God, did you see that?
Yeah,
did you fucking do that? But here's the thing, like you walk into the club, I walk into the club, and instantly, sometimes I get, that's him. And I'm thinking, oh my God, did I choke this bitch? Did something happen? Like, what? Oh, I was telling my friends that I brought them to watch you dance. And I'm like, hold on, honey, I just got here. I'm gonna dance, but give me the opportunity to find my space. Let me get into my groove, because it's not about you. This is really for me. If you enjoy watching it, hey, more power to you. But let me find and go on this journey that I'm gonna go on. And once I start, then they be like, oh my God. See, I told you. He killed it. Watch him. I'm like, oh my God. And then sometimes the one thing that makes me, and I'm not ashamed or embarrassed to dance in front of anybody, but when they start going, go, that shit gets on my
Especially if they do it offbeat.
Huh?
Especially if they start chanting that offbeat.
Oh my God.
I don't need a hype man or hype girl. They're like, you go. You're like, wait. I know I'm going, but you're distracting me. And they want to stop you and talk to you. And like, I'm feeling this music right now. And you don't see that I'm dancing right now?
You know what it is? I think we live in a world that treats dance as a spectacle. You know, it's for entertainment, it's performance. Only like a handful of communities or certain demographics view dance as like breathing, you know, or like praying, or like eating. So I think we experience these things, and you know, all the frustrations you've mentioned about being in the club and people just staring at the DJ or you standing there with their drinks, is because they're coming into this space coming from a society that doesn't really value dance as anything beyond just spectacle.
Exactly.
Entertainment. Yeah. Come in there, like,
because entertain me. When you describe, you know, church, when you describe dance as church, there are very few people in the world, I think, or there are many of them, but they're very located in a specific place, and they're together, and that's their community. And what happens is, you know, once the dance starts traveling, a piece of it travels, and then it kind of, I don't know what other word to use other than spawn. It spawns like another community that has no connection to this community. Right. They start coming up with their own values, and then they start making their own little contests, and they have their own judges, and now they're trying to dance like Jardy because they think Jardy wins competitions when he.
I actually don't.
But they think like he's got the magic ingredient that's going to help me win the competition at home or over here or over there, but not this original community They don't even know that it exists. They don't know about this original community.
Right.
So they're making up their own criteria. They're making up their own rules, their own labels.
It's called a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
You know, it's funny what you just mentioned, because as you're saying that, I'm thinking about how battling has become the norm. The norm. But see, the thing is, battling started in the clubs, and we didn't battle so we could win a prize. We battled for the right to have what is to be able to say, I beat that bitch down last night. That motherfucker, I wore that motherfucker out. Did you see this blah, blah, blah that I did to such and such? Oh yeah, we'll get her next week. We can get her again.
And that's such a different, that changes everything. Because with that outcome, then you have different people being themselves, coming to this space to be, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to beat you by being me.
Exactly.
But the other situation I'm describing, where a piece of the original culture travels and spawns a bunch of clones, now everybody's trying to be the person that's winning the competitions or the person that's judging the competitions. They want to be, it's a hierarchical. A lot of these competitions will have the same winner for decades. It doesn't really change. And then the next people who win are going to be his students, So it's a different outcome. So it's not that battling is the problem. I used to think that mixing up styles was the problem, but it's not the problem either, because that happens all the time. I think what the problem is the disconnect from the original intention of the dance.
Well, that's why mixing of the styles can do that. Because if I'm going to watch one style and you put another style with it, another style to that, it doesn't connect to me because I realize that it's still giving me pieces of it. If you're going to give me the journey, let me know where it starts and where it ends. Don't just give me, well, I'm giving you some cake, and now I'm going to give you, an apple, and now I'm going to give you a rock. And I'm like, wait. So am I being earthy with the rock? Am I being,
I think the mixing, because for example, I think of house and I realize they're mixing tap, African, hip hop, popping, salsa, hustle. It is a mixing of things, but there's a way you mix it that shows you're connected to those different things.
It is. And that connection has to be done by you listening to the music. And it's about a DJ who's playing the music to give you the right music for that dance. And a lot of the DJs do not know how to play for the dancers itself. And that's where the DJ is not giving towards the community, they're doing for their own ego. Because DJ's like, I'm gonna play this new song because nobody knows what this is. But if you're doing a certain style, if I'm gonna see voguing or whacking, I want to hear some disco involved with it. I want to see some vocals with it. Because that's where the magic comes from. That's where the personality comes out in the dance.
So one thing that I've been seeing lately is a trend to just take things superficially. I also love to mix styles. I've done, I've tried many styles throughout my dancing career. I've really gotten into b-boying, hip hop, and house though. Those are the three things that I know I've really looked into and have met the right people. One thing I'm seeing now though is that people just want to take bits and pieces as if it's like a checklist, and then they don't really dig deeper than that. It's very superficial. Yes. But I think really, it's cliche, but being a dancer, it's a whole lifestyle. You can't just look at something and think you can learn it in 6 months, a year, even 5 years. That is the start of it. That is the beginning of your journey. Exactly. For me, I've been dancing for 31 years now. Where that's the point where the beginning was when the point I told myself I want to be able to dance in front of people and to be able to perform. I'm no longer a performer. I think I've gone inwards with my dance these days, except for online, of course. But when I'm with other people, it's more about connecting for me and not connecting with them, not performing for them. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people do want to perform, but they just look at the dance so superficially. Like, I'll learn a couple of house steps, I'll learn a couple of hip hop steps, then I'll mash it all together because that's what everybody's doing. You know what I mean? But really, it's so deep. And the knowledge of music, like for me, I personally love jazz. Like when I listen, like I love jazz going all the way back. And it shows in my dancing. You know, when I've watched jazz dancers like do the thing, it inspires me, influences my posture, things like that. But I also love a ton of other music, and these are all super connected. So if you're listening to only one type of music, or even worse, if the music you listen to are the ones you expect to be played at all styles battles, which is always terrible music.
Very terrible music.
It's always terrible, and you're expecting that.
DJs better figure that out.
I wonder if they do that because they think they're challenging the dancer.
Yes, yeah, that's what they think. They don't think anything else.
How many times are you going to challenge somebody to Poison? You know what I mean? Like, I love that song, and it's gotten
I thought you meant literally.
Oh.
I understand, because I'm a dancer and I like to mix things together.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the way that I dance is I like to, it's a gumbo. Let's call it that. Let's put some food in here. It's a gumbo. We have all these different chicken and sausage and all these different things that goes within this meal, right? And when I'm dancing, I'm not thinking about, oh, I'm going to vogue right here because this is the perfect time to vogue because I know how to vogue a little bit, right? I'm doing this dance because there's a part of this song that says, hit this beat, pa, 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 right? But then as I come out of that, that may tell me I need to feminine up a little bit. Now see, what I really love to see is a dancer that, especially a straight guy, knows how to tap into his femininity. Yes. It's so powerful. It's so fucking powerful. Because I'm a gay boy, you know, and so I can be feminine, real feminine, and it's just okay, that's Miss Mama Stacey, she's doing her thing. But to see a straight boy tap into his femininity because he's been dancing so hard and he's giving you this, and all of a sudden he's like, ooh, soft and feminine.
Yes.
That's power.
Yes.
That's understanding your body. That's understanding the movement. That's understanding the music. And it's understanding that I know that I'm straight, but I can also tap into this pool over here because I'm confident in who I am as a man. And a lot of times dancers, especially straight guys, won't do that because they're worried about looking feminine, or they worried about somebody gonna think they're gay.
Exactly.
I started realizing that what makes dance boring to watch, like, you know, when you go to a popping competition and you lose interest in the first 10 minutes because you're like, ugh. It's that none of them are tapping into their femininity. The dance we all really enjoy watching is what you described, when a straight man taps into his femininity. I noticed that when I hear men say, I was dancing for the women, they're gonna move way different than when someone says, I came to win this battle. I came to win this tournament, you know, like, because a man who's trying to impress a woman has to move, like, he has to tap into that femininity a little bit to draw her, it's almost like a form of empathy or something. Like, I can move my hips, and there's like a sensuality to that, and that is what's gonna bring women over.
Well, that's what I learned. I learned that was one of the basic things that I learned. I mean, I'm not known for a lot of other movements, but I'm able to dance with a woman. Or with a gay man, because I realize it's all about the dance. No matter if it's freestyling or hustle, it's all about, it doesn't make a difference what you are, it's just about your energy and how we do that. and it doesn't, because you know, you lose a lot of important ingredients when you don't do those things. When you only stick to, man, like I do macho, gotta do the, you know, I'm like, dude, you're so mechanical right now. Where's the human part of you? It's like, no, I'm a robot. When I'm dancing, example, if I'm dancing with a woman, I realize that you're gonna come out with your feminine energy. I'm gonna come out with my masculine energy, but I have to connect with you. So I will go ahead and do exactly what you're doing without battling you. I'm dancing with you, not at you. So when I'm dancing with you, we both have a connection. Now that connection might go, well, we're going back and forth. You're going this way, I'm following you. And I'm now being the follower to your being a leader. Now, you might do feminine moves, but I might do the opposite, do a masculine move while you're doing your feminine moves to show yin and yang. It's still working, but we still have a connection. And vice versa, trying to figure out, should we come together? Should we go apart? Shall I switch sides with you? Shall I not? When I danced with Mama Stacey, I realized I know that he's going to give me all that feminine energy with it. And I know that I'm going to give him the masculine part of it. And as that happens, people now understand it's the dance. It's not the sexuality, it's not anything else like that. It's like, no, that's my brother. I want to connect with him as much as possible. You're my sister. I want to connect with him as much as possible because that is part of the whole community based off this.
Yes. And I think that for us, I think I said this earlier about me and you when we dance together, and it's never planned.
Never planned.
It's never planned. It just organically happens. Like, you don't come and say, oh, let's dance together.
No,
we don't do that.
Never ask that question.
I'm dancing right here, and all of a sudden you just join in.
I might be at the bar. He's working the place out. I decided, realizing that song didn't reach me right now. I'm cool right now. And all of a sudden he might be dancing by himself later on, and I just realizing, I'm feeling you. Let's go. And I'm going, and he's like, oh, you here? All right, let's do this. Let's do this. And we're doing this. And then I'm chiming into him. He's chiming into me. We're doing this. And people are like, that's magic. That's magic. I'm like, no, we're just having our moments. We're good.
We had a moment.
And we might not have it the rest of the night, but we might have it that peak of the music when the DJ has talked to both of us. And it's about talking to both people, no matter if it's man and man or female and male. It's about the music and the DJ giving us the platform for us to express ourselves. Which some DJs don't want to do that because they feel that if I don't play the new stuff, if I don't play this and that and the other, sometimes the regular stuff can be boring. Sometimes the new stuff can be boring. But it depends on the legacy and the history you have in your body of music.
Yeah. That's true.
And how you take that.
Yeah. That's true.
Let me coattail on that because I think that when us being from two different coasts, right?
Yes.
You from the East, I'm from the West. And I always get, are you from Chicago? Are you from New York? Yes. I was in Hawaii one night, I was in a club dancing and everybody in the club was doing their thing and I started dancing and they all did like this. And I'm like, okay. And this girl comes to me, she goes, where are you from? You from New York? I'm like, no. You from LA? No. You from Chicago? No. I'm from San Francisco. And she goes, oh my God, because people don't dance like that here. I'm like, okay, but I'm not here for people, I'm here for me. Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make is that even though we're from two different coasts, the thing about this house music thing, the community that it brings together, right? And we can mesh with anybody. We can go around the world and we might not be able to speak the same language, but we can speak the language of dance. We can speak the language of house, right? And we share that.
It's a nonverbal communication that we have when we dance, which is something that it's like using the third eye. It's like being very spiritual to go ahead and realizing who's around you, how you feeling, what the DJ's bringing to you. It's all this connection without saying anything. It's about using all the other senses that you have. Smell, taste, touch. Everything is coming at the same time, but it's really challenging from your ears. You're getting all that information from your ears and from watching it. And then all of a sudden, that magic that comes out of you is so rewarding at the end of the night that you're realizing, oh, I had a great time. I had a fierce time. I danced with this person. I was a brother. I was a, sister to people who needed to have some guidance. And sometimes I remember coming back home and pinching myself, trying to figure out, was that a dream that I did last night? Did I move? Did I have people grabbing me and giving me hugs? You sometimes so much in tune after dancing and everything else, you can read a room so well that you can tell if you had a good day or not. I can come to you when I take a break and say, yo, you all right, dude? Yeah, I'm all right. You sure? My mom passed away. Oh, darn, dude, you good? You can be a bit more sensitive because you let yourself go. So it's now you're all right to be able to talk to other people and relate to them because you did you.
As you were saying it, I was thinking about how it would be 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you talk about how your senses and you can see what's happening in the club. And there's been times where you're in the club and it's so packed, but you can tell a person who has been in that scene forever by the way that they move through the club, the way that they dance through the club, because, they're There's a song back and they walk for me, walk for me, walk for me, walk for me. And that song would come on and the queens would start walking like we runway walking and we battling each other. And there's a crowd of people. And if you know how to walk, you can walk through that crowd and you can make your way, right? And this is so funny because a person who has their master's degree in club life understands that, right? Has their PhD. We understand the way to move through that club versus the person who's new to the club that's just coming in doesn't understand. How do I get through here to get over there? Or how to get over there? They thinking about how to walk through, and I'm listening to the music because when I walk into the club, my body instantly starts doing this. It's like, ooh, the music is in me. It's time. No matter what's happening, I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, let's make this happen. But I'm scanning the room to see who's in this room because I can make sure I can connect with the people that I want to connect with and those that I don't, I give shade to and I keep it moving. But it's powerful to have that training.
Because it's a rhythm. It's a certain rhythm that goes into the club. And I think when the vibration of the club has a certain rhythm, everybody's doing different things, but it's all like this. You know, it's just not somebody, it's like, are we all at the same thing? Seeing a person who is not from that world and their world is trying to maneuver, as you said, around them, sometimes they just go through. They don't even know. They're just like, well, can I go and bring my drink? There's an open place. There's only one person dancing. I'm just going to go through. Do you know that they might be doing a kick, a split? Do you know that they might have their arms straight out? They don't know that. And those people are the ones who least understand, oh, I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going to watch that. But the ones who are completely stupid are the ones who sit back there with their drinks in their hands, say, well, I'll just go here. Well, why'd you kick me? Everyone's looking at them saying, because you walked in front of him.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I'm known for this. Mama Stacey gonna make some room. She's gonna get some room. Like, this is gonna happen. So I don't care where she at, she's gonna make some room. We gonna open this up, honey. Hold on.
I love watching when he does that, because I realize
it's that thing. Like, okay, honey, listen, you standing here and this is a dance floor. We came to dance and you gonna move and I'm gonna show you gonna move. And so once that starts to happen, people start to back up like, oh shit. Sunday I was sitting, waiting for David to start playing and I'm sitting there and there's guys playing whatever and he's not moving me. So I'm not going, if you're in a club with me and you see me sitting down, the DJ ain't going where I want to go, right? And people go, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? I've never seen you sit down before. I'm like, well, I'm not going, he ain't going where I want to go. Yeah. And the minute David got on, I instantly got up. And they was like, okay, move, Mama Stacey's. They was like, move. Because they know, okay, well, we finna get busy. Ain't got time to play. We just to go in. And from that point, it went on. And that club was packed. But this one came over, and we just started to feed off of each other's energy. And everybody just kind of, the walls just parted, like the waves.
Like the Red Sea.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens. But people, I think, they understand that we come here for a reason. We didn't come just to have a cocktail and look pretty. We came to dance. Somebody says, well, don't you ever meet people when you go out? I go, no, because I don't go out to meet people. I go out to dance. I'm not here to be social.
Yes. You know what's funny? I remember when it was like late 2000s, Temple, there would always be the same people going every week, every Friday night, I think it was. And we never introduced ourselves to each other. Yeah. But like, you know, you see the same people every week for like 2 months. Eventually you just know them and you don't even remember if anybody made an introduction or how you got to talking. They're just part of the community, so you know who they are.
Yeah.
There's a certain club etiquette of how you approach a person when you know that you really admire what they do, and it's about on the sideline. And it's nicely that they do that because I know that they're respecting my space and my energy. So I appreciate that. But, you know, they realize that we're touchable. You can talk to us. We're not scary. I mean, he might say, you know, he doesn't want to talk to anybody because, you know, this is his world. He talks to people, he keep people he know. You know, I do the same thing. I'm a little bit more social. I will greet everybody, but I greet everybody early, so I don't have to greet them later on.
Yeah.
So I'll say hello to everybody in there. DJ first, go to DJ, give him some love. His wife, his boyfriend, whatever, say hello to them, his people. And then I go around and say hello to everybody. It's done. Music's on. I can do me. Don't disturb me now. I might be in my mood. I might do that. And if I feel that it's going to be a problem, I will find a little area that I will go to when I do that. Like when I look for him, I realize, okay, Mama Stacey's waiting for the right music and waiting for the right time, so he's working this little corner. And if he realizes he's getting too much of a problem, he'll walk himself over the side, or he'll be a Mama Stacey and go like, excuse me, this is valuable real estate.
You need to move, honey,
You
move.
need to move, honey.
Where we learned to dance and how we dance is because we learned in the clubs. There was no, if you saw something somebody was doing and you thought it was cool, you was like, okay, I see that.
Watch on the side.
And just see that over there. That's kind of fire how they doing that, right? So you would travel and go to LA, or you would go to New York, or you would go to Chicago, and you would see these people dancing, and you'd be like, oh shit, that's kind of fire. And you in the corner, you trying
And
to...
you would see their environment.
Yes, how they expect, yeah.
Yes, and you would be like, okay, let me how you do that step, let me see that shit, okay, all right. And then you would get home, and you would try that step when you got home, because you didn't want to forget it, right? But now you go into a class, and somebody's teaching you these moves, or their moves, like Jardy's teaching this foundations of this thing, right? He's giving them the foundation, but a lot of them are trying to skip the foundation and go right to the top of the house.
We actually see that all the time. Like the first questions his students will ask him is, okay, how can I do more now?
I actually just experienced this the other day. One of my students, he's already doing multiple styles without really knowing any of them just yet, you know? And I had to say, like, slow down, learn to be on beat first, actually. That was the first thing. I was like, it's because thing is when people do too much too soon, offbeat. That is one of the main things that happens.
And it's because they're trying to get it to look a certain way. Like they're focused on looks first rather than understanding why that step. What's that step for? Why that step?
They're trying to imitate musicality without having knowledge of even the music.
They're probably watching your video and they're like, oh, I recognize the step that he just taught me. How do I do it so it looks like that? And then they're thinking that it needs more steps, or it needs more taps, or it needs more this, more that.
It's more. Yeah.
So the reason that happens is because, like you say, they see the video and they see him do it, but they don't know that he has the foundation already. Right. And they want that. So if he can do it that fast, why can't I do it that fast? Because you have not laid down the foundation, darling. You need to, it's just like building a house. You have to build the foundation. If the house is sturdy, it's going to stand up straight, right? But if that house is shaky because you took step 5 and you were supposed to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you skipped. So when your house, you start to do that dance, everybody going to look at you like, oh, his house is falling. His foundation's weak.
You know what it is? You forget the nails to put into the house to make it foundation. You didn't put the concrete in it to lock it down. All you did was like sit back and say, oh, it should be all right. Why is it falling down? It's like because you don't have any foundation.
Foundation is key.
That's why it's so funny to me how people use the word foundation now. Like, because I'll hear people say, oh, I need to work on my foundation. But they already claiming to be this dancer or that dancer. Like they're already winning battles, and then they'll kind of throw on top the foundation, like as if it's a secret weapon. Like,
it's trying to say I did a little homework. But then it's really a little homework. It's not a lot of homework.
It's just a little foundation. I was just going to use that in my next battle, and I'm going to, you know. So, yeah, for us, it's like if you don't have the foundation, then you don't have the dance at all.
Right. And you can have all the ingredients, but if you don't know how to put it together, it ain't a meal. Yeah. You know? And that's where people slack, and that's where they lose. And like you say, dancers always want to get to the end before they start at the beginning. They always want the battle. I want the trophy. I need it. Yeah, it's like, honey, you have to learn it first.
I think the reason for that is because they don't authentically feel any connection to the steps.
Oh.
So they're, or the music. Like you could tell them, listen to lots of music, listen to the music, but they don't understand. understand what they're listening for. Like they're hearing it, but they don't. It's not going in. Like it's not. They're not connecting it to the movement. So for them, it's boring. Because this is not the gimmicky part.
I think a good test for anybody listening out there, if you are in a room alone and nobody's watching you, and you put on the music you're supposed to be dancing to, and if it makes you smile and it starts making you dance without anybody watching, then you probably genuinely actually like the music.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly right.
But if you have to force yourself, then you maybe have to spend more time within the community, because that's not real, you know?
Yeah.
We both understand the situation where when you're a dancer and you've had you've been dancing quite a time and you understand it, you can pick the music you like. You don't have to dance to everything. If the Cypher's going big, I don't have to get in the Cypher. I don't like the music. I don't have to feel bad, like, oh, well, why don't you get in there? Get in there, Stacey, get in there. And Stacey's like, why am I going to get in there? I don't like the music.
It ain't called me.
It ain't calling me.
Someone did that.
I look at him and he's like, I'm not feeling it right now. And I'm like,
we've had that moment.
We've had that moment. I've stopped you.
The funny thing is, in a battle around the world, everybody thinks that if you can't dance to any music, that you're not a good dancer. But it's really the opposite, right? If you don't care about what music is playing and you just gonna get up there and dance anyway because you've been drilling at home and now's your time to win this competition, to me then you're not dancing.
You're just well practiced.
Because remember, it's the history that we have with the music.
I was out at that thing yesterday when this guy at the LGBTQ Center event yesterday, and they were dancing, whatever, and this guy was like, dance. And I'm like, no, I'm not feeling this. The music has to call me. He goes, but I know you can dance. I go, yeah, I can. But the music has to call me. I can't just dance because you said dance. I need to dance when I feel like dancing. He goes, oh. And a few minutes later, David played that song, that new song he just started playing, Hit the Road Jack. Oh, shit. And don't you come back no more. No. Oh, my God, that song was fire. And so then I begin to dance because I like that song. It makes me move. It calls me. But the music has to call me. I'm not just dancing just to be dancing. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy the movement that I'm doing.
But I think they need more vocals to be able to do that. And I think the vocals will go ahead and give them some kind of path like it has done with our culture for quite some time.
What's funny is sometimes, but you'll get the person that doesn't understand the culture and doesn't understand the history of what this thing is about. You'll get them people to tell me, battle him. Why don't you go up against him? Or battle him, or battle her. I'm like,
battling for what?
What am I battling for?
I mean, this is the validation to have. Everyone wants to be freaking famous, but you really have to know yourself and know what you want out of your life, because the brass rings that they're grabbing for, they're so high up there and there's so many people grabbing for them. I don't want to fight for a brass ring. I want to get gratification from the moment, because those moments will make me much stronger. The same things you have when you go to your mom's house and she's cooking, some kind of dish and she teaches you how to cook it and you have that moment with her. Or I'm with my father and he's fishing and I go like, I don't like fishing, but I go with him because this is our bonding moment. Or I had that moment where I danced with this hot girl and I realizing, ooh, we just had some magic together. Wow, can I take you home? But we realizing, no, this was a dance moment. It's that kind of like thing that people should understand, that comes with the culture, the experience, and how the DJ should understand that your job is to give us that experience, not give us your chest and show us I'm the greatest DJ, but say, I'm trying to reach into your inner mind to bring you back to some place that is part of your upbringing home. It's the same way I've had gospel, or the same way I had jazz. You're supposed to bring your culture, a little bit of your culture, to the dance.
Touching back on what you said a few moments ago.
I said a lot. Sorry.
It really is about the experience. And a lot of people nowadays treat it as the goal. Like there is a goal instead of the experience, That's how people like us have been able to dance for like 30 years because we're in it for the experience. We don't have a specific goal. We just love the music. We go in there, be present, and we just dance our asses off. We don't have like I gotta meet these. That's how you end up quitting, because once you feel like you met those criteria, you're like, I think I'm done. Yeah. Were you ever a true dancer if you're done?
No. You're always learning.
True dancing never stops until literally
you're done. And you see that, and it keeps us alive. Yeah. I know you've had your issues, what you had to do, but I think the music saved your life.
Yes, sir. The music has saved my life. Not only did the music save my life, the ability to dance has really given me strength to keep going, Yeah. Because if I didn't have dance, I don't think I could exist, because this is the one thing that brings me the most joy.
You see, our culture was never supposed to be competitive. It was never supposed to be a competition.
When you say our culture, you mean specifically house, club?
House.
Or
house.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And when you say house and club, it's kind of the same thing. You're my brother and sister. Why should I battle against you? I admire what you do, so I want to sit and watch. It's like you're an artist. Well, if you're an artist, why don't you just, show me, I want to watch your painting. I don't want to disturb you when you're in your mood. I think the thing is that as soon as they understand our journey, instead of what they assume their journey has to be, because their journey is about, all right, I want to learn some moves. I go to a session. I look in the mirror, I see what moves can I do, I look at so-and-so on the side to see maybe I can do their moves. From there, they then think they have to go to, a battle. Because they think this is the rite of passage. I have to be on a battle. Why do you have to be on? I don't know, but I think I'm ready to go on a battle. Do you really want to go to the battle? I really don't. So why are you going to the battle? It's all the reconception of doing that.
What's funny is that people ask me all the time, are you going to battle? I go, honey, I don't do that. I go, listen, darling. Listen, darling. I've already paid my dues. I don't have to battle. And you know why? Because I've paid my dues. I know who I am. I'm not trying to earn status. See, this is what the younger generation forgets. They think that you need status in order to be who you are. You have to understand that you have to go in the trenches first. You have to get in the trenches of this thing called dance. It ain't just about taking a class and learning all these moves. It's about owning the moves that you learn and really go out there and do it for the fun of it, for the love of it, for the love of music, for the love of house, for the love of dance, right? It's for that. This is why we do it. I'm only 20 now. I'll be...
He's a baby.
I'll be 60 this year, right? And dance is a thing that I never, ever, ever want to stop doing.
I feel you.
I want to always be able to dance. And the thing is, we are all born with gifts. Everybody has a gift. And sometimes people never tap into what their gift is.
Right.
Yep.
My gift was dance.
Like I play a tambourine, and people now know me for this fucking tambourine. I'm not upset with it. It's something that I brung up because it was like I have ADHD, and another thing too is, and they keep me occupied while I'm playing, and this is what I hear the music, and this is what me hearing what the music is doing, and how that beat's doing, and what I want to, how it inspires me and how it gets me. But at the same time, it tries to give people a beat. Because the one thing I hate is when a person is off beat. It's like you have too much food in the room. You don't know what to choose from. Oh, I got cookies, candies, and you get overwhelmed, but you don't understand which is important. That's the vegetable, that's important. Eat that water, that's important. Drink that. No one tells you that because you're too busy, have all this smorgasbord full of food and stuff.
I think that's why people are offbeat, actually.
Yeah.
They have too many choices.
They have too many choices.
And they don't go for the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like when I play my tambourine and I'm playing my tambourine, I'm giving them a solid beat to say, do you hear that? Can you feel that? Remember, this is what that is. because every time I see them and they're doing this off, trying to be really cool by going offbeat, it's just like doesn't have nothing to do with the music. People like us, we're seasoned veterans in this game, and we've been to clubs which taught us the etiquette, you taught us the culture, taught us how to release and everything else. I wish we could reenact that situation, and that comes from listening.
When you are in your moment and you're with your tambourine and you're living and you're having a wonderful time, you and your tambourine is with the DJ, y'all in sync, and you having a lovely time. I don't know why this bothers me. But when somebody come up to you and ask you, can I see your tambourine? I'm like, oh my God.
Look at me like, excuse me?
That irritates my spirit.
No, but you know what?
And it's not even my tambourine, but it bothers me.
Because you know that, that's the same way somebody's in your way. It's like this. I have a house. I invite you over. I say, come on over in my place. Have a seat. Do you have a seat? Can I get you something to drink? Can I get you something? You say, sure, I'll take something. I go away. I go into my kitchen, I get some food, I get some drink or whatever snack, come out to you, and I look at you and I go like, where's my table? And you said, well, I didn't like it, so it's outside. And so why is the chair on the ceiling? Well, because I think it looks better. And it's like, who the hell is this person here? Oh, well, they were just walking down the street and I decided to bring him in with me, I don't know, they had no place to go, so you're changing my whole furniture. You're changing the house of it. People come and change the house and doesn't respect the house, how it built. And remember, this is how it's been going on for quite some time.
It occurred to me, what if they've never been to a house before? They don't know what a house is. They've only seen a dollhouse. They have a dollhouse that they've played with that home.
They've had a home.
No, I'm talking about an alien, something extraterrestrial, lands on planet Earth, and you meet this alien, and you're like, come to my house. Yeah. And they're like, wow, I've never seen a house before. Exactly. And then they start moving things because they don't know what furniture is. They don't even know what a chair's for.
They don't.
And that's what the people in the club are.
Exactly. but that's the same way.
They're like aliens that have only had access to doll houses.
But the same thing is going to you're Filipino?
I'm Vietnamese. American,
Vietnamese. If I go to your house and I meet your mother and your father and I'm there with them, I want to know their culture by letting them know what's available and how I should respond in their room. Do I sit down first? Am I asked to sit down? Do daddy sit down first? Do I sit down after daddy? What's going on? How does that work? As going to another country, learning another language, understanding the customs, that's what you're supposed to do.
I think what it is that we're in the U.S. So people in the U.S. think everything in the U.S. is like the home. So they don't, what you're describing is oh, I'm visibly different. I'm visibly, that, okay, my parents must have been from somewhere else, or my grandparents. So then you get into that mindset of I'm coming into their home, I'm gonna learn their customs, I'm gonna learn their language.
Exactly.
But the thing in the U.S. is pop culture, I guess, I don't know what else to call it, pop culture is really, the foundations of pop culture is in Black American cultures, Black American everything, from New York to LA to Oakland to Philly to wherever, Detroit. It all gets mushed together, and then people are just floating around thinking this isn't foreign, this isn't different, this isn't a home, this isn't a house. It's just my playground. Mm-hmm. Here I am with my drink I paid for, and I see something that looks remotely familiar to me because I saw it on TV.
Yeah, TV.
Which is the dollhouse. The dollhouse analogy is oh, I've played with this at home. I know what it is. So then they walk over there thinking they understand, but they don't understand and then what I'm curious about is what caused that shift? Because you said it started around 2007 to 2009, you noticed a difference, a change. And I'm wondering was it the internet? Because that's when the internet kind of started.
It was internet, and it was part of bottle service that was being very, happened that way. And it was part of transients, people who were coming in to think that just because I have money, I can go into a club. You see, back in the day when I went to clubs, we had a membership. Mm-hmm. That means you were given the right to be able to come in and being taken that right if you didn't know how to act. Mm-hmm. So when you're, and that's the difference between clubs. Plus, there was a residency. Mm-hmm. Everybody's popping up DJs at this place. You don't get the same DJ at the same venue all the time.
I just realized, is that why they're called clubs?
Clubs?
Because why are they called clubs?
Well,
that's something we all gonna have to research. But I can agree with that, the whole membership thing. And with that whole, you have my Sound Factory membership, I had my End Up membership, I had my Rhythm membership, I had all these different memberships to these clubs. I was always on the list and right? But the thing was, bottle service ruined the club.
What is bottle service? What does that mean?
We got a booth like this, and you have it roped off, and you have.
That started later. That started in the late 2000s?
Yes, and that shit is annoying as fuck. Because you get those people that don't come out, that, I'm going to get bottle service.
Weekend warriors.
Yes.
Tourists, natives are one thing. We're natives when we do it, but weekend warriors are completely different. They come only on the weekends because it's their Friday night. So we go, raise havoc. We're going to get drunk, shots. We're going to go ahead and now we got enough shots. We can dance now.
And we're over here dancing, having a lovely time, but they've been sitting here watching us. So now they done got their liquid courage in them. Now they feel like they can just run over and do whatever the fuck they want to do to you or me or anybody else that's on the dance floor because I got VIP service.
Exactly.
I'm important. But what they fail to realize is that we come to this club every freaking weekend, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. Yes. And we know the security because I've had Becky do it to me. And Becky did it to me and she's like, well, I'm going to dance with you. No, you're not. And then she ran and told security. And security came back and saw it was me and goes, oh, you messing with him? Oh no, he comes here every week. You mess with him again and he come tell me you gonna have to go. But the thing is that we have to teach them, but it's not my job to teach you club etiquette.
Mm-hmm. I never really thought about the history of clubs themselves. I've thought about history of house, history of this is the club culture. But club culture or clubs themselves, like as a concept, the club, like dance club, I didn't think about the evolution of that and how it started very underground, and you had to have membership, and everybody knew each other, and then at some point it became really commercialized.
Yes,
everything
everything does.
And then there's, them charging $30, $20 at the door, and there's a celebrity DJ, and then there's bottle service.
And really close to the celebrity DJ, so we have to have VIP, so we can look important, so we can feel that we're privileged, and now we can do privilege over everybody. You might not look as dressed, I have designers this, and you just look with your little garb, so I'm just going to go ahead and take over that space. And basically sometimes they're energy suckers, meaning they will try to suck the energy away from what you're doing. Like the dancers usually bringing the energy, and the energy brings the power and the experience of the club and for the club goer. Because you want to go someplace that you said, I had a great time. Not because you look good and you look cute with your cute little outfit or whatever, or you have money, but you actually participated in the experience. When people who don't understand that concept is there, it's a block in the road. That they will brush off the energy that makes the party happen just to say they're there. There's many times when I've been in clubs and we dance, everybody's dancing on a great old time, and somebody who doesn't dance but came there anyway gets their phone out, let's take selfies in the middle of the floor that and behind us. So we're dancing, but they're showing that here, we're in the cool spot. We're where all the cool people are. We're cool. It's like, but you're not putting anything, you're not dancing with any of us. You're just sucking out the energy. You are more of a virus than you are of something that's growing into the community.
That thing, the phone, has ruined the club.
Oh yeah.
The phone has ruined the club. Everybody pulls out their phone right in the middle of you getting it, right? And then they have that bright ass light that shines in your face, and I'm dancing, so I see it, so I walk up to him and put my hand in front of that light.
Oh, I'll turn my back and stop dancing, and they're like, "What happened? What happened?" It's like, because you just blew my spot.
You ruined it for me.
You ruined me. I had a moment. I'm having my own personal moment, but that's something that has not been told, and I think the thing is that it should be told a lot, because that club environment is so important to the culture. Started house parties, and the house parties expanded into clubs. So the same mentality of a house party: respect the person's space, don't break this furniture, don't have no fights. Remember, the house community don't have no fights. When have you seen, and you're the younger generation, when have you seen a fight in a house club?
Very rare, very, very rare.
What's that? Actually, it's having gone to clubs in the 90s, I have learned that you can't just walk in and act like you own the place.
Nope.
Or you'll occasionally get your ass kicked, you know?
Has that happened?
That has never happened to me, because I've always walked into, like, not in high school. In high school, it was like, I was dancing with people in school. But once I started taking the dance real seriously, I was walking into black spaces that I knew I had to walk in there and be a guest, you know? I had to walk in there and be like, all right, you know, like, I'm here to experience and not act like I'm owning anything at all, because I was not. I was there to learn, and I was there to like take in whatever was given to me, you know? So it was a privilege to be there. And it taught me the value in respecting space and going in there and not thinking that you know exactly what's going on. You got to read the room every time you walk into a room. I think paying for your entrance to a club, a lot of people think that, well, I paid, I could do whatever I want now, you know?
That's
but
not it.
It's not true at all. You got to go in there and you got to learn the culture. You got to watch how people are interacting with each other. You still have, you know, you still need, it's like going into a new school. You can't just walk in there and like, hey, what's up, to everybody. You don't know what the cliques are. You don't know what the rules are. You don't know who's gonna kick your ass. So yeah, it's true. Like it has changed, because like back then, I'm sure for me going into the clubs in the 90s, in the 80s and 70s, it probably was a lot more risky.
I had to dress a certain way to get into certain disco clubs. Yeah. I had to go to, when I did the gay clubs, I had to be realizing, hey, you know, I gotta go up to, and you know, it's like there's a whole bunch of guys in here, and I don't know if they're gonna hit on me, and I don't know how to deal with that situation. And then I had to realize I'm in their world.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm in their world.
Right.
They don't want me unless I want them. And guess what? As long as you're not being homophobic and starting any shit, you're good. And if we see you coming back a couple of times, all right, so you straight, you gay, whatever. It's like, you know, I'm straight. Well, okay, cool. You know, I have no problem with that. All right, cool. My best friends that I have are the gay community, because they embrace. I was able to be embraced by them. You know, when I went back in the day too, Latin clubs, you know, I had to be chill. I was like, okay, I'm the only black guy here, and there's lots of Latinos here, and they're looking at me like that, and I'm outnumbered. So if shit jumps down, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. So, you know, we all
real talk. Real talk.
Yeah, we all had to go ahead and realize we had to pay our dues in a certain way of respecting the space, as you said before.
People ask me, well, how did you become a legend, or how did you become an icon in this community? And I'm just like, honey, I've been in this community a long time. I've been dancing a long time. I know a lot of DJs. Why you never pay to get in the club? Honey, because I know a lot of DJs. Exactly. They pay me to come to the club. Exactly. They want me in their party. I said, but the thing is, I'm not excited about getting in for free, because I still buy a ticket anyway. Because I know, for the simple fact is, this is how the DJ makes his money. This is how she makes her money. This is how we keep this club going, is because we have to pay. If we don't give something back, it's like the person, I don't drink alcohol. But it's like the person that goes to the party that drinks alcohol but buys a fifth and keeps it in their trunk in their car, and they drink out in the parking lot and they come in, but they never buy a drink in the club. No. How is the club going to survive? And basically, dancers don't really drink alcohol. Nobody goes to the bar, and we get a bottle of water, and they got water at the end of the counter. So they're going to drink that, right? But in order for us to keep this thing going, we have to contribute.
That's why paying to get into a club, paying for a drink, buying a t-shirt, something that's giving back to that so they can keep it on a regular basis. Because every time, you know, you're going for the next fix, you go to this club, okay, I go to this club. You really just like, it's like hit and run. You know, a club is like a relationship. You know, you have bondings, you have a love to it, you have respect for it. You know, you just don't hit and run. It's like a relationship. You're just like, well, I'm getting you, then I'm getting you, then I'm getting you, then I'm getting you. It's like, no, you don't be used. The big foundation is to go ahead and be able to, you know, like you said before, buy a drink, buy a t-shirt, help to make sure that you are part of the community to do those kind of things instead of just taking for granted, what are you supposed to do me? I'm here. You know, this is
always going to be here.
Yeah.
But no, it's not going to always be here if we don't contribute.
You go like, remember that party was so nice? What happened to that? You never showed up. Don't go to my house and just eat my food and then walk away and go, I'm going to Joe's house next time. It's like, no, do you approve my food? Yeah. Well, when you come back, I'm going to bring some wine with me when I come to your house next time. It's that family, that earthiness, that kind of like home way of thinking.
This is a real movement, and it's going to continue to be this movement. The thing that we have to do is we have to keep the legacy alive, and we have to keep educating people so that they understand that they weren't the ones that created this. There was somebody that came before me, right? Because before there was house, there was, like you said, it was disco, there was R&B, there was high energy dance music, you know? And then this house thing came. And Frankie Knuckles and them and Larry Levan, and they started, and Jesse Saunders and all these DJs started making these beats and these sounds. And next thing you know, you got this thing that ain't gonna stop for nobody. This train ain't stopping. It's gonna keep going. And we are the pioneers of this thing, and we have to keep this thing going. We have to keep educating people and keep telling them the stories, because the ones that weren't here, how they gonna know the story if we don't keep it? Thank you for making this.
Learn to be the student as much as you want to be the teacher.
Glory.
Because every time you don't do that, you're really not knowing where you came from. You were a student in the beginning. You learning from everything. You are learning constantly. I'm still learning some things. I don't care how old. I mean, I've been in the game ever since the 70s. I'm what, 40 years, 40 years? I'm still learning. I mean, I learn from people who tell me like, no, the tambourine's great, but you don't have to play it near the DJ booth because it throws them off sometimes. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Too much baby powder might make it stop person slip. Okay, I didn't realize that. Right. We all have to learn. So and that's the whole thing about me and Stacey. We understand it too. We understand we're going to learn some things, but there's things you have to learn from us.